most importantly, there's a lot of Americans playing in this cacophony of Champions League this afternoon. What is kind of at stake? We already know that Ricardo Pepi will be in the lineup versus Liverpool this afternoon. What do you think he has? Do you think he's going to be putting on a resume builder performance in front of his future suitors for Liverpool? What kind of Americans in the Champions League final day are you looking at here, Jason?
Okay, I'm thrilled that Ricardo Pepi is going to get a chance to start against Liverpool. It's a little less exciting that he's going to be playing Liverpool's B team because Van Dijk and Salah and McAllister and Szoboszlai and Diaz are all back in Liverpool hanging out on Merseyside. They're going to be watching 18 games just like us. They're not going to be in Holland for this match. So that does take a little bit of the excitement away, but it's still an opportunity for Ricardo Pepi, and I will certainly be checking in on him as the day proceeds. Of course, again, Milan, 2 Americans, Pulisic and Musa. Pulisic back, scored on the weekend. Obviously, they needed some late goals to get that result over Parma.
That was
crazy. They have a chance here to be sure of things. They go just a little bit east to Zagreb to play Dinamo Zagreb. They will be favorites in that game, but I don't think it'll be easy. I think the atmosphere in Zagreb will be insane.
Yeah.
So I'll check in on that. I do think it's very possible both Musa and Pulisic start that game. We expect that Pulisic will be in the starting lineup in that match. There is that. You go down the list. All right. This is the one, right? This is the one where we have the most trepidation and doubt and what's happening and oh my gosh. And they're not playing, it's not a matchup that entices you with Dortmund hosting Shakhtar Donetsk, who is all the way down in 27th right now, and their chances of making it through are slim to none. They have a -6 goal difference, so they'd have to win, get a bunch of help, and turn over a goal difference problem. So they'd have to win big against Dortmund. But will Gio get to play? Will Gio Reyna get to play today? And will this be an opportunity not only for him to play, but maybe to roll that in to what's coming next for Dortmund? Like Dortmund is just on the verge here of making sure that they will be playing more Champions League football, and I expect that they will be. Right, they're in 14th now. I think mathematically they're already through to at least the round of playoff matches to try to get to the round of 16. So that's not really an issue. So maybe there is a free roll here for Dortmund and Mike Tulberg, who's the interim manager. I have, by the way, heard rumors that they've talked to Ralf Rangnick about taking over as interim. What is it about Ralf Rangnick that everybody's like, hey, can you just come be our coach for like 3 months? Please, Ralph. I don't know what you're doing. Like, Manchester United did this. It feels weird.
Maybe he's just like really good in short bursts. Like he can put his input, make a stamp on a team, and then move on. Maybe he's just not a person that you can be around all year for that. Maybe he just doesn't have that longevity, like international stuff. He can do a camp, impart his wisdom and his philosophies, and then just let everyone go back home.
Perhaps that's it. Yeah, he's kind of like the wolf from Pulp Fiction. Like he just comes.
He's in and out.
He just comes in. He tells you what to clean with, and then he tells you what to do, and then everybody's good. I guess I don't know. I don't know if that would be good or not for our man Gio Reyna. But yes, keeping an eye on Gio Reyna and the possibilities. By the way, there's more than one American at Dortmund. It's worth pointing that out as well.
That is a good point.
We're not, we're obviously much more focused on Gio Reyna and his potential to do something maybe in the immediate future with a change of coach. But Cole Campbell's there as well. Don't know if he's even registered for the Champions League. Not sure about that. But it is worth watching to see what goes down at Dortmund as a precursor, as a future. Juventus, we know about McKennie and Weah. Where will McKennie play? That's always a fun game. Guess the position that Weston McKennie will play for Thiago Motta. Again, they got Benfica. That's a tough one. They are at home, and they can improve their place. I mean, it's possible they could jump into the top 8, Juve, and avoid the playoff round. So I think Thiago Motta is going to be going for this in a match that matters. It's also, again, you kind of have to consider what's coming next. And some of these clubs, their league campaign is a little bit not so great, and they want to improve on that. Milan's a good example of that, and they have the Milan derby coming up at the San Siro on Sunday. So Sergio Conceição has that thing to worry about. Okay, we want to be sure of our Champions League place. We want to improve our place in the table. maybe we want to jump into the top 8 or stay in the top 8, but we have to worry about the league because Milan's league season has not been good to this point. Meanwhile, Juventus has Empoli on Sunday. A little bit of a different challenge for Diego Motta.
Looking at the chat, I like Miguel's shout. He's very confident in Ricardo Pepi. He's calling a brace at least. So 2 goals, not even. That's the bottom expectation. That's pretty well.
Let's consider this. So you can tell me, you're the Liverpool guy, right? You're our resident Liverpool fan.
Sure.
So no Van Dijk. I believe Konate was also left on Mercy's side. So who's going to start? Kwanzaa is going to start at center back, I would guess, if he hasn't been mentioned as a player left out. So who else is there that Ricardo Pepi is going to be dealing with as a center forward?
That's a really good question because there has been a little bit of movement in the background for Liverpool for the center back position. I'm not sure if Joe Gomez is healthy enough yet.
I think projected. He's hurt.
Joe Gomez isn't back yet, and it's actually projected with the FOTMob's projecting the player that went in there in emergency circumstances, and I'm surprised that they don't have anyone else there, but because they already used him as a sub as a center back when they were kind of caught out in league play, was that weekend or so ago, but Wataru Endo is projected to be the center back pairing with Kwanzaa this afternoon. So I think that there's got to be a better option than there, but Schlott trusted him in that, in a Premier League game, and he's projected here. Usually those projections by FOTMob, they're informed by reports and various sources. And we've seen evidence of it before, so there could be something to Miguel. Maybe Pepi could take advantage of a center back or a center midfielder playing out of position in center back.
Yeah. If Wataru Endo is playing center back in a Champions League match at Eindhoven, when I
with
know
a teenager, partnering
a
teenager, yeah,
and partnering a teenager, I would bet on Ricardo Pepi having a nice day. But we shall see. We shall see. And by the way, also worth mentioning that Malik Tillman is injured and will not play for PSV Eindhoven.
That's a bit of a shame. But I do want to kind of keep in mind like what we're looking at with looking at the table now. We should almost take a photograph with the table now of which teams are in that top 8 and that middle blue section, and underneath. I have a feeling we'll look nothing like that come this evening. I mean, there's so thin margins between here. So any sort of anxiety and trepidation that teams like Manchester City or teams like PSG might fall out, I feel like might end up being bluster, because a lot of the time when the truly elite teams have the threat of being put to the sword like that, they often come through.
I think there will be I think there will be some surprises, though, Rob. You may be confident in the big clubs getting through, but I do think there will be some surprises. And regardless, all right, so the drama will be there. Maybe it won't be as intense as it could be, but I do think, and that's mostly because of matchup here. Again, Manchester City home to Club Brugge. By the way, Brugge, who is on their way potentially, if they can get just a single point of into the next round of the tournament. I mean, if they could be jumped. They're on 11 points. There are 2 teams on 8, so they could be jumped if results don't work to their advantage. But I do think there will be surprises, and we're guaranteed some big clubs having to be drawn into that playoff round rather than be in that top 8 and booking their place for the round of